Garrett agreed, but Grant declined, and we're going to talk about why. I've talked to Grant, I've got the answer, and I'm going to share it with you guys today. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. YouTube golf news. A little bit of YouTube golf news to show you, a little bit of something going on in the community that's very, very exciting. Now, if you remember back to a few months ago, we had the Myrtle Beach Classic. This was a first of its kind breakthrough qualifier where you had a bunch of YouTube golf creators going up against a bunch of journeyman kind of PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, Mini Tour pros. I believe it was like 8 and 8, 16 total for a final spot at the Myrtle Beach Classic, which was the PGA Tour event going on for the first time at Play Golf Myrtle Beach or at one of their courses. So that was a very, very neat event. It had 8 YouTuber content creators, including Luke Kwan. It had George Bryan, it had Grant Horvath, it had Fat Prez, it had Micah Morris, Peter Finch, the list goes on, all competing for a spot. But one of the big names that was left out of that competition that had a lot of questions around it when it was first announced was Garrett Clark. Garrett Clark was nowhere to be found on the list, and there was a lot of kind of he said, she said about why or why not he was competing or not competing in that event. Now, we have another one of these style of events. It seems as if, hopping on over, the PGA Tour has taken a page out of Play Golf Myrtle Beach. Now, talking to the event organizer who I interviewed for the Play Golf Myrtle Beach, he said they had lots of great feedback from the tour, they had lots of conversations with the tour, and that they thought things like this might continue, not only their own qualifier, but PGA Tour announcing the Creator Classic, a new golf competition at the Tour Championships featuring leading content creators. So this was announced maybe a week or so ago, but this is something that is absolutely huge news in the YouTube golf space, and we're going to go through it. We're going to talk about who's in it, who's not, and why. Okay, for the first time, the most popular golf creators from around the globe will face off in the Creator Classic, a 9-hole competition at East Lake Golf Club prior to the Tour Championships, which is a combination of the PGA Tour's FedEx Cup playoffs. Now, this is crazy because this is not just like, the Wyndham Championships this week, which, no offense to anyone playing in that, but like it's not hosting, the premier, top 10 in the world PGA Tour players, off week event, whatever. No, this is like the creme de la creme. Literally every big player on the PGA Tour is going to be there, like next to a major. It's probably going to have even higher attendance than a lot of the elevated events because the PGA Tour players can somewhat pick and choose what elevated events they go to. This obviously has the biggest prize purse in all of golf. You have to qualify into it. It's the final stage. The event at East Lake, the Tour Championships, is the final stage of the PGA Tour FedEx Cup playoffs. So it is just the creme de la creme of athletes, and they are now having what is essentially the creme de la creme of content creators there. Okay, so let's move on. On the eve of the Tour Championships, which sees the top 30 PGA Tour professionals who have made it through the FedEx Cup playoffs, competing for a shot to become the FedEx Cup champion and winning an insane amount of money, 16 of the most successful and skilled golf creators will take on the newly restored East Lake Golf Club, facing some of the same conditions as the pros, each competing for the inaugural Creator Classic title. Among the participants confirmed so far are Tyler Toney from Dude Perfect, who's, if you guys don't know, obviously not a YouTube golf group, but just like Dude Perfect's one of the biggest YouTube groups in the world. They have that Seoul Augusta video. They're the only, I believe, person allowed to have filmed themselves at Augusta. Pretty cool. They played like disc golf with Bryson DeChambeau or something like that. The Brian Bros, which I assume includes Wes and George, Fat Prez from Bob Does Sports, and good creators Garrett Clark, Brad Dalkey, and Sean Walsh. It's a very, very interesting list. A very talented list of obviously PGA Tour adjacent players. Wesley playing this week, and Wyndham playing on the PGA Tour pretty much all season after his second place finish this year. George has qualified into many and got sponsors exemptions now into many PGA Tour events. Fat Perez, solid stick golfer. And then obviously Garrett Clark, Brad Dalkey played the Masters, Sean Walsh, professional golfer. Very, very cool list. A lot of names that we did not see at the Myrtle Beach Classic. Obviously, Wesley Bryan was not playing in it because he was already pre-qualified into the tournament. Garrett Clark was not there, Brad Dalkey was not there, and Sean Walsh was not there. Really, there was no representation from Good other than Luke Kwan at the time, and I don't even remember if that was when he was still in Good or not, to be honest. So, listen. This is cool. It is a very, very cool concept. The fact that they're going to be facing the same conditions as the pros gets me more excited than just about anything else, because we see these guys playing, obviously very good courses and tricky courses and playing from distance and whatever, but courses get juiced up to a different level the week before a PGA Tour event. And even when we see a lot of our favorite creators, you know, even like a Rick Shields or whatever, go play like the open venue, they're usually recording the video like multiple weeks before the event, just because there's so much going on the week of the event, and the course doesn't really get fully juiced up, you know, the greens fully running at the speeds, the rough as juicy as it's going to get until the week of the event normally. And so this is going to be them playing in those actual conditions, a 9-hole challenge to see who's going to take home this new title of the Creator Classic. Now, the reason why this is so cool is not just because we're going to get to watch them do this and because it's exciting, but it's because the PGA Tour is validating what we're doing on YouTube Golf, and they are seeing the numbers, they're seeing the engagement, they're seeing, you know, the pull these guys have to bring a new audience to the PGA Tour, to more classic golf. And, you know, obviously it's no secret that not just the PGA Tour, but all pretty much classic TV ratings are on the downtrend. That, you know, YouTube is obviously a platform now where a lot of eyeballs are going. This is a very cool way to kind of bridge the two things together. I like it a lot more than just like, you know, what the Waste Management's done years past with like the Shot at Glory, which has brought creators out to it. This is like a full-on thing, a full-on streamed competition that we're going to be able to watch and enjoy. I think it's going to be really, really exciting. So the tournament will consist of 8 holes of gross stroke play and then a playoff between the top 4 finishers. Foursomes will be announced the day before the event. The Creator Classic, presented by Blackstone, marks the first look at the new back 9 at East Lake. That's kind of cool, making these creators the first to officially take on the restored course. Anyways, and then it just goes on. The realm of YouTube golf has not only emerged as a formidable player in sports entertainment, but has also carved out its own unique genre. The Creator Classic is bridging the gap between conventional golf tournaments and the world of social media, providing an engaging experience for a diverse audience. Obviously, bringing people into the sport, bringing people into professional golf, wanting, you know, watching these content creators go, watching them probably shoot, you know, right around even par, and then being like, how is it possible that, you know, people are going to go shoot 7-8 under par in a given day at East Lake, and then they get to watch the pros do it, and they're like, wow, and then maybe they tune into it. So this is also just cool for me, right? Like we're coming up on 2 years. December will be 2 years that I've had this channel, just like being like the broadcaster, the commentator of YouTube Golf. And now it's like YouTube Golf, like I've always believed this could happen. It's part of the reason why I've been like willing to like keep creating content like this, is not only because you guys like it and I like it, but because I really think there's like a future where like YouTube Golf has, I don't know what it would look like, whether it's like an actual tour or an association with something like the PGA Tour, but a space where these events happen and this becomes more of like a sports center type thing than, you know, anything else. So it's very cool, it's very exciting. I think it's great for golf. But while you guys are all here, there's obviously, well, there's two, in my opinion, two really big names that have been left out of this list. So we got Brian Rose, we got Fat Perez, obviously Dude Perfect. I know most of you guys probably don't care about that, which I know sounds crazy because it's one of the biggest groups, but my audience is very niche YouTube golf. Most of my audience watches just about YouTube golf and that's it. So anyways, Brian Rose, Fat Perez, and then 3 good members. Sean Walsh, kind of athlete, I believe. Anyways, very, very, very exciting, but no Rick Shields, number 1. That's one that stands out to me. If we're talking about like the most like professional golf adjacent creators, like Rick Shields and Peter Finch are probably 2 of the biggest. You know, maybe it's the UK thing. All these guys are American. All these guys are living in the States. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Obviously, you know, Rick Shields and Peter Finch have done a lot with like the DP World Tour and the Open Championships in the past. So maybe, I don't know, that's part of it. Scheduling conflict could be it. I don't really know. But not seeing Rick Shields there is weird. But the even weirder one to me, no Grant Horvath. Grant Horvath was at the Myrtle Beach. You know, Rick Shields wasn't. That's totally fine. Not seeing Grant Horvath on this list it was very shocking. So I wanted to reach out to him. I wanted to find exactly why he wasn't coming. And yeah, I did that for you guys. So I'm just going to put it right up on screen. We can read it together. I just sent him a text the other day. And I simply just asked him, hey bro, just wanted to confirm that you were invited to the Creator Classic. So again, just confirming that in fact he was invited. It wasn't that he was snubbed at East Lake but couldn't attend, correct? And he replied, yeah man, best friend's wedding. So there you go. That's it. He has a best friend's wedding. That's why he's not going. So it's nothing crazy. He wasn't snubbed on it. You know, I think it's unfortunate because I think if it was, you know, it's his best friend from what he's saying, best friend's wedding. So, you know, you're going to go to your best friend's wedding. But if it was just a friend's wedding, if it was like a third cousin's wedding, I mean, this is a pretty big opportunity. It would be pretty cool. I mean, not that Grant needs it, but it would be pretty cool to see him there. And a part of it, I'm sure he'll be he was definitely invited, and I'm sure he'll be invited in years to come. I mean, he's the guy. He's the guy on YouTube Golf. He's the most popular creator right now. So, you know, I think there will be a future where we see him. But that's that. I think it's kind of interesting that we're seeing Garrett there and not Garrett obviously had the really famous clip of him saying in the Myrtle Beach thing, he just didn't think he was ready. He didn't think his game was there. So he's obviously been trying, you know, to improve that, and we see it in his swing. We see it in a lot of the content he posts on his own socials that he's working hard at his game. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares. I mean, we all know he's a solid golfer, so I think maybe it's more of like a mental confidence thing for him. Because, I mean, I don't see him as like a standout worse golfer than really any of these guys. So anyways, that's it, guys. That's the video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.